Just dead, right? Blocks here, dies. Easy. Easy peasy if you're patient. Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. Hello. My voice is fine. It's me, it's CGB. And I realize I haven't actually made a video dedicated to, as Voxy would say, the crab deck or simic terror, the simic tempo deck that has been popularized in standard, and particularly for best of one. So this is what we're doing today: how to climb the ladder with this kind of budget friendly simic tempo terror list. And when I say budget friendly, I mean it. Like, let's find a rare card. Where are the rare cards? There's one, 4 copies of Storm Chaser's Talent. There's some more. Analyze the Pollen, although I believe there's another substitute you could use, Brave to the Wilds, to replace this. Analyze the Pollen, we'll get to why it's good. Bushwhack, Seed of Hope, Beans, Cash Grab, This Town, Tolarian Terror, Eddie Mark Crab. That's it for non-land permanents. 4 Storm Chaser's Talent, which I would say are deck crucial, and Analyze the Pollen, which is not. Then in the mana base, there are 10 rare lands because it's Magic the Gathering, and we believe that only money bags should have mana bases that function unless you're monocolor. So over here, we do have the Botanical Sanctums, which maybe you have left over if you've been playing Arena for a long time from the Kaladesh Masters. Am I supposed to say that anymore? Forget it. Hedge Maze, Yavimaya Coast. Anyway, Simic Tempo, Simic Terror, Eddie Mark Crab. How does it work? Why does it work? Why is it good? It is good because it plays very large creatures for a very low cost and draws cards in the process. When you play a Tolarian Terror or an Eddie Mark Crab, or This Town Ain't Big Enough, and bounce those cards back to your hand to reuse the effect or save them from removal, then the Up the Beanstalk triggers again and again and again, so that you have a steady stream of cards. The rest of the deck is devoted to getting instants and sorceries in the graveyard to make your terrors and Eddie Mark Crabs cheap. And that's why we have cards like Cash Grab, which is an instant, which is nice, gives us a lot of flexibility, as well as Seed of Hope, another instant, gains life against those aggro decks, gives us a chance there. And then we have cards like Unsummon and Into the Floodmaw, and of course, This Town Ain't Big Enough to bounce their threats and give us time. Bushwhack is also kind of a removal spell in this deck. If we're being honest, you got big creatures, you got prowess creatures from Storm Chaser's Talent. The deck also has an endgame that's really recursive and oftentimes is completely deterministic. Like, it's gonna eventually wear them down, and that is to use Storm Chaser's Talents level 2 to get This Town Ain't Big Enough back to the hand, and then you cast it either on the opponent's stuff or your own Storm Chaser's Talent and your own Storm Chaser's Talent, so that you make more otters. But then you get to use the level 4 again to get back This Town Ain't Big Enough. Rinse, repeat. Rinse, repeat, until you have a ton of otters and a ton of prowess triggers. The deck's deceptively aggressive if it has 2 Storm Chaser's Talents and then can play a bunch of these cheap spells to further its game plan. The otters attack for a lot of damage. So it only runs 17 lands. What is this, limited? Because of cards like Seed of Hope, Cash Grab, Sleight of Hand, Bushwhack, and Analyze the Pollen, making sure that you hit your land drops anyway. So if you're looking for a pretty cheap to craft deck that plays a wild tempo game and is one of the better green decks, even though the creatures aren't green, they're big creatures, but they're not green. What's happened to this world? This is a very good deck to play. And if you enjoyed my coaching sessions on Voxy's channel and teaching the crab deck and you wanted to learn more, this video is for you. Voxy just played the Spotlight Series in Atlanta. She said that somebody came up to her and that this person registered the crab deck and played the crab deck at the event because they were inspired by her stream. And that made me excited. So if that applies to any of you, shout out to you. This one's for you. Let's go get some crabs. Let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. New Year, New Platinum. A 3-land hand. I should play 17 lands more often. I mean, this is fine, right? Absolutely fine. I'm probably not in a hurry to play the maze. Maze can wait. We can get an otter on the field. Our opponent looks like they're gonna be playing an overlord deck. That's what I can usually gather that quickly from just one play. So let's get otters down and try to beat them to death quickly. All in the timing. Tempo decks are usually pretty good against decks like this, and they don't have turn 2 beans. Do not need another land. Wow. They were trying to give me a curve out to 4 on 17 lands. How does that happen? Why is Arena so rigged? Yep, there's their overlord. It begins. So no targets for an unsummon. Oh, beans? Do we play beans or cash grab? I'm a bean gamer through and through. But man, it would be nice to trigger prowess one more time. Oh my goodness. That's so much land for this deck. That's wild. But we're doing fine. We're doing fine. What are they going to do? Play a Zur? I'll bounce it. I don't care. They're thinking. Hey! Nice. That's a pretty good one. We'll just have to do it again. How about another otter? How about that? This is instant. Just, I knew that. Didn't need to make sure or nothing. Now we fill that graveyard and we get crabby. There it is. Here's that eternal schemer boy. Ta-da. Never didn't have it. You end the turn with nothing and like it. We grab some cash. Choices are lands. Nice. Ooh, crab is online though. Let's go to work. 12. We're closing in. And we do have this town ain't big enough Storm Chaser's talent combo if we get a few more lands on the field. Oh, back to Beanie. They took it back to Bean Town. And then I bet they play Overlord again. Yeah, they want that card. I also like cards. Aha! They're in trouble now. They would have had that at instant speed either way. Pretty lucky. Floodmaw could come in handy. But let's grab cash. Terror! Excellent. Cards. Terror! Do we do it again? What are they gonna do? Blow up everything again? Probably. They can also Zur again. But we can actually bounce it. Enchantment creatures. We can bounce it in response if they have the wrong mana open. Could save us. It's interesting. Or we could try to pull them into a board wipe. I mean, we get a card, so it's not the worst either way. Now we got a flashy crab friend. And if they have more split ups, they choose untapped and we get to keep the otter. Stop playing more untapped white sources. They're too good. Uh-huh. Target the Overlord. Do we bounce the Overlord now? We can block that, right? They gain 5 life, they make a thing, we block it. Could also bounce the Zur at a crucial point. Let's see if they activate the binding as well. Oh yeah, they're going for it. They're going for it. They're going for it all. They are greedy. They're at 10, so they probably go to attack here. I think they have another binding, and that's why they're confident. But I think this is the play. Just take the lifelink. Tempo, baby. It's about tempo. Now what? Your binding won't help you. Those have ward. Game. Calculated. Tempo decks still make you think in Magic. Not everybody used to that anymore. Zurgo Burr. Ooh, I attack with Overlords. I win now, right? Nope, not today. Invar. Invariable? Invarious? Inverexual. Nope, none of this is right. This is the kind of weirdo hand you can keep, right? Because we got a bounce spell, we got this town ain't big enough, we got crab, we got beans, and then we have ways to get the lands. And they're not being aggressive. So I think this is a Seed of Hope end step. Because it's an instant. You can plant seeds at instant speed. I don't know anybody who can. In my life, in my world, these things were like you had to prepare and set time aside. But here we are. It's an instant for some reason. Beans? Beans. Let's see. They want to remove the beans. Maybe they have a get lost. You know, fire that off. But you still gotta try to get the beans down. Human. The heck is I playing against? Pass. This feels nice and blue, doesn't it? Okay. Entity tracker. It's when something enters, so we still have time to bounce it before the opponent plays an enchantment. Keep them from getting that sweet, sweet card advantage. And I think they know that. They're attacking now. Just let it be. We go to 20. I'm getting so used to Brawl, I'm looking at this like, where did I take 3 damage from? Talent? That's me. I have talent. Now, do we go for the grab? If we do, they might respond with some enchantments and draw some cards. I think that's fine. I don't think we hold ourselves hostage to that. More talent. Pollen is an 8 out of 8, so we can go get a creature, and we drew a land. It's pretty good. The green doesn't have a lot of use this turn unless we're casting this town. I do think we're going to end up bouncing the entity tracker. So that does mean we can play this town. Also means we can do this, go get a Tolarian Terror and drop that. Or we could make 2 otters. I think the Terror is a harder thing for them to deal with. Let's have a look at this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I go get a Terror here. I unload the graveyard and then I can't play the Terror. Good thing to catch. So how about if I just make an otter friend? Followed by an otter friend. And then I think I use this town and bounce a talent and the tracker when they try to remove these otters with a nowhere to run. Okay. Scary. You can hope they have no enchantments. Very scary. They're going to draw a lot of cards. Fortunately, we're a tempo deck. We can probably figure out how to beat that anyway. Remember, for this to actually stay costing 2, it costs 5 if we don't target one of our own things. So this only bounces one of their entity trackers unless we pay the 5. That's too bad. But better than them playing a nowhere to run, which would let them ignore ward. They're Esper, but with Cavern. It's kind of wild. And then they run spells, but they draw for enchantments. It's definitely a bizarre brew. I think I still wait. Better to do it at end step. Also see if they have an untapped land they're slow rolling. They don't. Okay. Now is the time, because they can't redeploy a tracker in this turn cycle. And they didn't get to draw a card during their main phase, which would have let them hit their land drop. They're holding out to get these cards. But them missing a land is huge. Beans is back on the menu, boys. I think we need to get the land, actually. Feels weird, but I think it's true. And now we do some crab beanie combo. They did find their land, as you expect that they would when they got to draw 2 more cards. Tempo game. Two card advantage engine decks. They play Overlord. Yeah, that's probably their big, like, wow, is that they play Overlords and entity trackers and control elements. Yeah, they cooked. Unfortunately, like, this combination of cards isn't as good as, like, say, the Esper Pixie stuff, just because it's so cheap. It's all in the pricing. So we hit our land drop. That's nice. Gotta keep that up. And then we got a lot we can do at instant speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 6. So something's not making the cut. Might be the cash grab. Take 5. Didn't think so. I do think I'm using Into the Flood Maw in this turn cycle, probably on the entity tracker, but we want them to commit an enchantment first. This is gonna be a battle about cards, not mana. Or actually, what I just said, invert it. It's going to be about mana, not cards. We're both going to have a lot of cards and a lot of options, and it's going to be about who can deploy their cards. Get them to resolve, get them to stick on the board. Who has the cheaper threats? That's going to be us. Like, they have this Overlord, it's going to make 2 more 1/1s. It's not that important. Or 2 more 2/2s, rather. They're going to draw a card from this entity tracker, that's fine. Did they hit their land? They did. Okay, they do still have a land drop. So what are we doing? They're gonna use the cash grab. And seed. Hopefully this hits. Oh, did it hit? Terror. Okay. Sleight of hand. Lots of prowess triggers here. Let's use them. Terror unsummoned. They're at 17. They're not dead, but it's close. Let's just keep adding to the board. They might run board wipes in a deck like this, but make them have it. Crab. Awesome. So we have a follow-up if things go wrong. Snap it up. Should not hit a land, that's for sure. We've got enough of them. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Just stay on target. No way those overlords are gonna get there. No way. And then we get to enough mana and you start looping this town, right? And that's how we, even if they stall here with a board wipe, we keep the overlords off our back. Uh-huh. There's Zur. Had a feeling they're going for the Zur move. Yeah, when they named human on Cavern, I'm like, are you Zur? Yes. Yes, they are Zur. Big sorcery speed moves. Ain't gonna cut it in this format. It's either red aggro or you've got to think about flash. Just dead, right? Blocks here, dies. Easy. Easy peasy if you're patient. 11-minute game, far from easy for most of you red gamers out there. Talent, but no path to green mana. On the play, though, I'm keeping. I'm gonna believe. The deck's on a hot streak so far. Let's see if this is one of those cases that shuts it down. I hate mulliganing on the play when I'm not specifically an aggro deck. All right, looks like hard mode it is. This is mono white control, I guess. This is not well. Could bounce the tome, but I don't think that's the point. On the bright side, the deck is slow, and the opponent is taking it slow. And they don't play anything there, okay? Might have a get lost. Maybe we should hold. We should cash grab and then beans when we have this town ain't big enough. Patience. We already got off to a bad start. Really? Going after my coast? That's rude. Seems like a fidget more than anything. They could have been drawing from the tome. Maybe they're hoping I don't have the forest. Oh, it turns out they're blue-white control, and they want their blue mana. Sure. So we both had decks that were a little, or at least draws that were a little defective. Still, they held out on using the tome, which doesn't make a lot of sense when you're looking for a mana of a certain color. That's very, very strange so far. I'm not sure what to make of this player. But I do know I'm the tempo deck, and I know how their deck works even better than my own. So it's all in the timing. 3 mana open definitely can be a no more lies for a beans. Could still be a prowess trigger. I think we just do this. Build a board. Ensure our next land drop. And they're thinking, I'll just board wipe, it'll be fine. I really want to play the beans when I have this town to protect it. The card advantage from beans is what's going to have to catch us up. We're too far behind to this stupid tome right now. Yep, there's a Day of Judgment. Perfect. As planned. Ooh, another beans! That's gonna be fun. Alright, the card advantage begins. Could drop a terror here, but we're gonna keep up. This town ain't big enough. And the crab. Because I think they might try to get lost this beans. And they're letting it be. We'll go for the crab. Maybe get no more lies. Maybe not. Refute. Okay. I mean, that is also an option. I wouldn't say one of the good ones, but it's budget compared to 3 steps. So I guess I can see it. 3 steps ahead's a rare, I think. Yeah, they discard no more lies. How about that? Get a spell, maybe? Not so lucky. I really wanted a spell there. Well, make him have it. And draw 2. Not bad. This is a moment of weakness for us. Let's see what they do with a full grip. And tome threatening to take them up to 18 life. But if they let me untap with my unsummons and my this towns... Okay, the Day of Judgment now. And they pass. And, ooh, that's a lot of Botanical Sanctums. I can pay the 3, so we're going for it. Probably should have tapped the forest. Two days. Okay. That's good for us. Sleight of Hand, Seed of Hope, big old terror. Pass turn. Now I have a few ways to save our terror. They go for a Day of Judgment. Let's go for Unsummon, which they might counter. This is a good No More Lies target. And they're getting impatient. I can feel it. Okay, they didn't do that. Sure. Another tome. Sure. That resolves. Seems like a good time to rebuild my board with these. It's a lot of card draw. Let's get the untapped blue. You gonna scry now? Yeah, they get a little impatient, right? Now we do have to watch out. Decking ourselves is very dangerous. We don't want to fall out of Jace range, and we're not playing the counter spells like some versions of this deck would. We gotta basically keep them sweeping the board every turn, but not fall below 15 cards in library. Really want some crabs for flash speed. One, two, don't want to mill anymore. Don't want to draw too much. But we do want some cheap prowess triggers if they don't sweep the board. Yeah, they're checking the deck. If they double Jace, of course, we're just going to lose. Thanks to the new subs. If you subscribe, you might see your name down here in a future video. Depends what time you do it. There's the crab. It was a little late. God, if I had drawn an end step, I might have hit it. Or if I had drawn one more. All right, so they want these otters. We want to make big otters here. All right, 23 cards. I think we have to start with bouncing our own beans, because we're going to draw a lot of cards here. But I guess it can also start with a sleight of hand. 18 is possible, but you know they're going to have things to stop us. And choose the untapped land. Put that down. So this will be a lot of draws, but we get the beans off the battlefield, so we're not as close to decking. We don't know for sure that Jace is their win con, but it's a good assumption. Okay. Storm Chaser's talent. This is 18. How much can we do at instant speed? One. We got 5 mana. We can do all these at instant speed if it's enough for lethal. If they say remove one thing. But lethal has been presented. Do something about it. Not on my watch. You're going to have to pay for that. Okay, they paid the 2. Bounce it. Not on my watch over there. Can't bounce that. Okay. So right now they have 10. Getting 8 triggers is not possible. So let's let this hit. We're at 20 cards. And we want to do crab on end step. And hold up this town. So yeah. This is fine. Do we want this town? Yeah, it ensures prowess triggers. We want this town plus crab open, right? Doesn't play around No More Lies. But they didn't have one a few turns ago. Does playing an extra 5/5 here get me more? I'd rather have the 5/5 on end step, but what about this town? What does that actually do for me? Not that much, to be real. Yeah, we deploy. Don't think the game's gonna last that much longer. Don't need tap lands. Okay, upkeep scries. Always a good sign. You got them on the run when it's an upkeep scry to the bottom. Did they draw what they need? They used all their mana last turn? Yes, they did. So they might have been holding that archive. They keep on top. Okay. They did not get there. The big trap in that game, honestly, is not playing enough threats. You have to be willing to put your threats in harm's way where they could get board wiped, and then you just bounce them back, and you keep presenting a lethal board every single turn. And if you keep that up, eventually they don't have the sweeper or the double removal, and they're dead. But if you take your foot off the gas even a little and they can interact with you and then also play a Jace, and then on a future turn play another Jace, then you're like 30 cards off your deck is not going to cut it. The Mesa Falcon of the day is Moj the Bear. Moj, Sure, I'll say it like that. You're cool. And thank you for joining the Mesa Falcon Gang / Cool Kids Club. Rebrand still pending. You can hit the join button below. It's $4.99 a month, and you support the channel and you get early access to videos, and I appreciate it a lot. And it's going to continue to support all the fun things I'm going to try to do to entertain all of you in 2025. Thanks to the members. You're all very cool, but especially Moch the Bear. And so is Simic Tempo. Simic Tempo is a good deck. It's a solid, like, I would say B tier deck. It has game against most things, and against most things it can also flounder. Its own game plan can fall flat if you don't mulligan well and if you don't set it up correctly. It's punishing if you make mistakes. If you don't get your beans down early, it gets very clunky. But it has a tremendous upside, and against some decks in the format, especially if you get an early up the beanstalk, they just can't keep up. It makes control decks cry, and if you play smart and don't deck yourself, you can beat them, as we showed in the video. So yes, I recommend, it goes on my list, I recommend Simic Tempo, aka the crab deck in standard. And I believe all of this is going to be legal for some time. I believe while things rotate seasonally now. So I'm looking at all of these, and it appears to me, okay, Seed of Hope. Seed of Hope might be the first thing to rotate out at the end of 2025. That's still a whole year. I guess Yavimaya Coast, and we'll see if some land takes its place. But yeah, that's a whole year to enjoy this deck untainted. And the card that we know is rotating, I bet Yavimaya Coast gets replaced somehow. But I think Seed of Hope, you can find another card that fits it like Opt. But Seed of Hope rotating, it's just a common. So yeah, this will be a contender, very likely, or at least something you can play in standard to climb the ladder for some time. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. You're cool.